All right, everybody. So this is going to be a little review slash impressions video of the game Blue Fire. It's published by Graffiti Games, developed by Robi Studios. And I will say right off the get-go, you have to give this game a chance. And I don't mean buy it a chance. I mean, when I initially started playing this, I did not actually enjoy the game all that much. It wasn't until I got to, I don't want to say spoilers, but like the Forest Temple. It wasn't until that point that I really started liking the game. So if you buy it, give it at least until then, I would say, which is probably about maybe 4 hours in. But yeah, just before anyone clicks off the video saying, oh, this guy is wrong, Blue Fire, terrible game, give it at least until then, please. And if you don't enjoy it, maybe you actually should give it a little bit past that. I just will say that right off the bat. Anyways, let's get into this. I did play on the Nintendo Switch version. It did seem to run pretty similar in handheld and dock mode. I didn't notice too much of a difference. Like, now graphically the game isn't like super intensive, but it is like 3D, and I will give some credit to running fairly smoothly on the handheld. And I didn't experience too many bugs, crashes until up to a certain point when it started crashing a lot, and that was maybe about 12-ish hours in. There was a soft lock bug that I did experience, which did not let me finish the game, but I was fairly close to the end. But the devs, being the awesome devs they are, props to Robi Studios, they got a patch out quick for it. I was not able to try it because I'm on the Switch. It's on Steam now. Anyways, so what is Blue Fire? Blue Fire, in a nutshell, Ocarina of Time plus Hollow Knight. Now, the game was initially called 3D Hollow Knight right when it came out. I think it's a little more Zelda than Hollow Knight, is what I would say. It does borrow a lot from Hollow Knight. You get spirits taking place of the charms. You got slots instead of the notches. The mask the main character even wears basically resembles your health bar in Hollow Knight. And then several of the environments look fairly similar too. The lava area, the initial area, stuff like that. But it did feel more like a 3D Zelda to me. There are certainly metroidvania aspects of the game. Progression felt more akin to something like Ocarina of Time, because once you're in one of the temples, you're kind of self-sufficient in there. You don't really have to backtrack too much like to other areas. And there's chests containing keys. Some of them you get after you solve the puzzles, and then there's like little charm noises, and there's enemy arena rooms, time challenges to hit switches, and stuff along those lines. Those keys, along with the new abilities acquired inside each temple, is the gating mechanism themselves, so they're kind of like self-contained. But I guess the fact that there's keys and stuff also much more Zelda-like, as opposed to something like Hollow Knight. But it also means there's not too much reason to go back to the individual temples themselves that I found once you were able to make it to the end, outside of maybe doing a few of these emote platform void room challenges that I could get to, I'll get to in a little bit. Visually, the environments did feel kind of on the bland side to me, I will say. But it is a young dev studio, so you can't really blame them for that. Their first game, also the character models, not super fleshed out. But like I said, their first game, they did a good job. Okay, so let's talk about these void rooms. Now, there's these void rooms called 3D platforming challenges with the reward of increasing your max health for getting all the collectibles at the end. And I will say this is probably my least favorite part of the game. Might be because I'm more of a 2D platformer fan myself, but I was finding while working through these to complete a room, I was just kind of wanting to get back to the main game, honestly. You get a new heart after completing the room. I do kind of prefer more of the, you get like a quarter of a heart piece or something, and then once you find them all, then you unlock a new heart slot. I do prefer that over this system, but might just be me. Now, they are optional, so you don't have to finish them, but the health benefit is nice. And you could go and do them, most of them, right when you unlock them. But if you go back, once you get new abilities and new jumping mechanics and stuff, they become a lot easier. And I would highly suggest not spending a ton of time with them like I initially did. I was like, oh man, I'm just not good at this. But if I would have known I would have gotten certain abilities later on, then I would have come back and saved myself an hour in each of these things. It is kind of strange that the game allows you to even attempt them. I want to say a little early, but I could see it being making a fun challenge for like speed runs or some Twitch stream. Oh, I want to get all of these voids with only using these charms and stuff like that. But it does make it a tad bit frustrating because you think that you're just not good enough to do the challenge at the time. In reality, you could come back. And then let's talk about the combat a little bit. I did feel like the combat is kind of also on the bland side, which it did get a little bit better when I unlock more things like striking enemies in the air and stuff. Basically, you just have a basic strike, flame projectiles that use up sort of a mana system that's refilled by striking the enemies. You got a shield that's very, very akin to something like Super Smash Brothers shield, and you can parry if timed correctly, making the next attack deal more damage. Then the aerial combat I did feel was a little bit better. It reminded me something of like Kingdom Hearts aerial attacks. And I will say the main character, very, very squishy. You die very, very quick. Enemy models, there's not too much variety. The bosses and stuff, they don't have too many movesets. They did get better later on, I did notice, and they did have some more variety to them. So again, I would, like I said, give the game a little bit of a chance. The bosses, even in the Forest Temple, were not very... There wasn't very many movesets. It wasn't until I got to the Lava Temple where I started noticing the bosses a little bit more variety to the moves, I guess I should say. And then, like I said, initially I did not care for the game all that much, but once I unlocked more upgrades and slots and the movement was like parkour and feeling like I was freaking flying through the air, made the game so much more enjoyable, so much better. Story-wise, the story is not too deep. It's kind of basic, but it's all right for what it is. I'm not too big of a story guy myself, though, so again, a little bit biased. Gameplay, as many of you know, takes precedence for me as opposed to story in games. Like I said, I would give this game a shot. It's not too terribly expensive, but if you're giving it a shot, at least give it till the Forest Temple, maybe a little bit past there, because once you unlock some of these other upgrades where you're like double jumping and dashing, and I don't want to spoil them and stuff, but there's some pretty sweet movement ones that come your way. Like I said, if you like 3D platformers, you like things with some metroidvania aspects to them, but if you like Zelda games, give this one a shot. That being said, everybody have a good night, good morning, enjoy your games. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you guys again next time. Goodbye, everybody.